What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sincere's here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video. We're here for June 11th, 2021's Vendor Reset. So let's get right into this and see what we got good for this week. For our first gear items, head over to Camp Hudson. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 4% mobile cover damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to the Meat Locker. Here the weapons vendor has an MG5. And also here we got a reflex sight. For our next gear items, head over to the base of operations. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a military M870. Also here we got an operator mask with the talent enduring. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the weapons vendor, and here we got an M249B. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the gear vendor here, and we got an operator pack with the talent Relentless. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 6% first aid ally heal. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor. Here we got a black market AK-74. Next here we got a double barrel shotgun. Also here we got an infantry MG5. Next here we got an extended magazine. Also here we got a tyrant suppressor. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor, and here we got a liberator. Next here we got a police UMP45. Also here we got a classic M44 carbine. Next here we got an infantry MG5. Also here we got a Spec Ops mask with the talent refreshed. Next here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent Relentless. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% sticky bomb damage. Also here we got an extended magazine. Next here we got our mega rifle suppressor. Also here we got a vertical grip. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the special blueprints vendor, and here we got a classic M60 blueprint with a gear score of 256. Next here we got a firearms mask blueprint with a gear score of 256. Also here we got a firearms gloves blueprint with a gear score of 256. And also here we got a quick release magazine blueprint with a power level 34. For our next gear items, head over to the cavern. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 7% seeker mine explosion radius. For our next gear items, head over to Kerman Station. Here the weapons vendor has a tactical SA-58. And also here we got an SR-7 suppressor. For our next gear items, head over to Camp Clinton. Here the special equipment vendor has a historian. Next here we got a tactical Vector 45 ACP. Next here we got an operator mask with the talent Tenacious. Also here we got an operator vest with the talent Vigorous. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7% mobile cover health. Also here we got a high velocity magazine. Next here we got a mega rifle suppressor. And also here we got a 5.52 hollow sight. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Clinton. Head over to the special blueprints vendor. Here we got a snub nose rhino blueprint with a gear score of 256. For our next gear items, head over to Dante's Run. Here the gear vendor has an operator pack with the talent Specialized. For our next gear items, head over to Autumn's Hope. Here the gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Tenacious. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7% ballistic shield health. For our next gear items, head over to Madison Stand. Here the gear vendor has a tactical pack with the talent Relentless. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7% support station range. For our next gear items, head over to the Last Call. Here the weapons vendor has a paratrooper SVD. And also here we got a C79 scope. For our next gear items, head over to the Firewall. Here the gear vendor has an operator pack with the talent Inventive. Also here we got a prototype stamina mod with 209 stamina and 3% damage to elites. And also here we got a prototype firearms mod with 257 firearms and 2.50% exotic damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to West 31st Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical M249 Para. Next here we got some operator gloves with the talent Savage. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 5% smart cover duration. For our next gear items, head over to West 39th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical pack with the talent Inventive. And also here we got an extended magazine. For our next gear items, head over to West 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a military SA-58. Next here we got an operator vest with the talent Rapid. And also here we got an extended magazine. For our next gear items, head over to West 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Rehabilitated. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% sticky bomb damage. For our next gear items, head over to West 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Spec Ops pack with the talent Specialized. And also here we got a prototype stamina mod with 265 stamina and 2.50% exotic damage resilience. For our next gear items, head over to East 61st Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has an extended magazine. And also here we got a large suppressor FDE. For our next gear items, head over to East 58th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a Spec Ops mask with the talent Tenacious. Next here we got an operator vest with the talent Reckless. Also here we got a tactical pack with the talent Specialized. For our next gear items, head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapons vendor has a Lova C. It's not a good roll, but I figured I'd mention it. And also here we got a military M60 E4. For our next gear items, head over to East 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has an operator mask with the talent Refreshed. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% Seeker Mine damage. And also here we got a C79 scope. For our next gear items, head over to East 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 266 firearms and 1% critical hit chance. For our next gear items, head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a small grip red. For our next gear items, head over to East 40th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Super 90. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 2% pulse critical hit chance. And also here we got a reflex sight. For our next gear items, head over to East 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Rehabilitated. And also here we got a heavy magazine spring. For our next gear items, head over to East 31st Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Spec Ops pack with the talent Relentless. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 2.50% smart cover damage resilience. And also here we got a Tyrant suppressor. For our next gear items, head over to the 5th Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Model 700. Next here we got a Spec Ops mask with the talent Tenacious. And also here we got a heavy magazine spring. For our next gear items, head over to DZ2 safe room. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Spec Ops pack with the talent Specialized. And also here we got some gunslinger gloves with the talent Savage. For our next gear items, head over to DZ3 safe room. Here the Dark Zone weapons vendor has a military SA-58. Also here we got a custom M870 MCS. Next here we got a classic M44 carbine. For our next gear items, head over to DZ8 safe room. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Rehabilitated. For our next gear items, head over to DZ9 safe room. Here the Dark Zone weapon mod vendor has an extended magazine. Next here we got a Tyrant suppressor. And also here we got a small grip red. Alright everybody, that's it for our Time Clancy's The Division vendor reset video for June 11th, 2021's vendor reset. I hope everybody who tuned into it found them something that they needed. Smash on that sub and like button. Y'all appreciate that support. And I will see y'all with the next one. Everybody take care. Peace.